Those moments, those situations, when somebody asks you for a favor and you feel like helping them out, but you don't have time, you don't have energy, or you have something else in your mind going on. I received a great question from Dorde. I hope I'm not butchering your name. You should correct me, my man. So I would like to read some of his insights, and they're quite truthful to what many people feel. It's so hard to be kind in this world, just to say no. I'm not a person pleaser. On the way of achieving the life goal, you have to be determined and to not let other people trample across you. And that's not being unpolite or rude. It's determination. I'm talking about day-to-day kindness. People are more willing to give respect to those who have no kindness at all. I'm even more happy when someone is kind to me. So the question is how to sustain being kind, getting respect, and not be messed with the term people pleaser. Of course, when we talk about people pleasers, there's a deep motivation behind why we do things. Why is it that we try to make others happy? Because we have a hidden agenda, because we want something back. And that's why I would like to delve deeper into this topic. The issue when it comes to rejecting people's cry for help is not so much that they dislike us. It's more about our thinking of how they perceive us whenever we reject them. So for an example, if you have a basic self-awareness and you say something rude to another person, instantly catch yourself upon doing that, being rude and mean, and you start your own internal conversation. That's the basics of the feeling that we experience while we say no. And yes, of course, there are some people who would perceive you as a bad person, not trying to help thy neighbor, and there's a sense of entitlement ingrained into that. But those kind of people are not genuine, and you should avoid them. People who see you in bad light just because you cannot attend to their needs at the moment being. As an empathetic person, you should have the ability to place yourself into the shoes of the other person. And same goes for the people that you are trying to help. And in my opinion, you shouldn't excuse yourself in not having possibility to show kindness. You politely explain, preferably the truth, if the truth won't hurt that person, and go on with your own errands until you have time to show kindness. You have to understand it's not about the kindness per se, rather about the rejection itself. And as we know, there are no people who love being rejected. That's what hurts the ego the most, the rejection. And instead of trying to understand your position, they make up these stories in their own head, try to come up with different reasons why they should dislike you. That exact feeling is the premise to being a nice guy, trying to make others to feel good about themselves, trying to help them out just because they see some kind of a gain afterwards. And this is quite prevalent in the dating world. Dudes who try to get into the friend zone, into the goods of women in order to come around, be the guy on whose shoulder they will cry on, and maybe eventually, get into the panties. But the truth is, most women know about this. Women are more intuitive than we men, so they feel that something is off. Being a doormat just for the cause, there is no such thing as just. And this nice guy syndrome is applicable in every other area of life, like being an ass kisser, or making things that you know for sure that other will like, to gain status, to gain recognition, to get a pat on your back. And a true kindness should have no agenda, because it's natural and it's something that comes from your deeper self. You don't want anything in return. That's why most genuine kindness is given at peace, when you feel good about yourself, your own living situation, and you feel whole. Because the opposite of that is trying to give love when your own love tank is empty. And being a nice guy, acting kindly because you have a hidden agenda, is you bending your internal values to get something external. Because that kind of a kindness goes through self-abuse. You wouldn't do that if not for the prize at the finish line. That kind of kindness is abusive and self-destructive. In those instances, you have to understand that the first person you have to serve is your own self, because this body is your closest person in this whole world. And if you neglect your own values, own integrity, you will be suffering and not acting genuinely, and people can see that. So next time, or whenever you're trying to take action to show kindness, you have to consider yourself and your own needs. Put them first in your priority list. Do I have time for this? Do I have energy for this? Am I really feeling that way? Sometimes when you try to show kindness, there's an internal resistance that you have to battle with. And it's very natural. It awakes your self-awareness, you become grounded in the present moment, and you can take the most authentic action. Yet again, never apologize for not being able to attend others' needs. And when it comes to people giving respect to those who don't even show kindness, I'm sorry to say, but respect is worth more, regardless of how that respect is gained. Especially dealing with men in hierarchical order. It's all about respect, your work, and people admiring you. Now, those are not mutually exclusive. You can be both kind and respected as well. What I'm trying to say is that respect is valued more. Going forward, just remember that people pleasing is self-abusing, and self-love is the cornerstone of any kindness. Hossein, out.